Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Boss Babe Blog Podcast. I'm your host, Katan, and today we have a wonderful guest and certified life coach joining us from radiantlycrowned.com, Tiffany the Diamond. Welcome, Tiffany.
Hello.
Hello. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. I'm used to being on the other end as a coach and a consultant, but today I am going to be taking a step back to experience a life coaching session. So, for anyone that does not already know, Tiffany is doing a grand opening and she has officially opened slots for her life coaching services, meaning that you can go to her website and click on the page that says join our program. And from there, you can decide to join the program and you can purchase a package for double consults, which would be two, or triple consults, which would be three. If you purchase two, the current grand opening price is $80 for two, meaning they are $40 each, and it is 1 hour long. And then you have the grand opening price for three, which is $90 for three, meaning they are $30 for each, and they are 1 hour long, which is a steal of a deal, and the quality is not being compromised. These prices will not always be the same. This is a grand opening celebration to celebrate Tiffany's business, Radiantly Crowned, officially accepting clients. So that's what's happening on her website. So if you are enjoying this conversation, you know exactly what to do after we're done. Now, from there, I want to ask everybody, have you ever considered life coaching to rediscover yourself or to expand on your developmental journey as far as your emotions go? I'm going to drop that poll. Please vote. And Tiffany, I think I'm going to swap us out on this smaller screen because I want to give you an opportunity to just introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are. Good evening, Charlie. Thank you for joining. Let us know who you are. Introduce yourself formally. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share this in all of our communities because I'm really excited slash nervous about this session.
Most certainly. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany. You probably see on your screen Tiffany the Diamond. The diamond comes from how I transformed after I left. Um, got some closure on some things that I needed to leave, and the diamond was formed. I am a certified life coach. I am the author of a book called Beautifully Scarred. I am mother, a friend. I wear many hats, and I am very excited about the session that we are doing tonight. And um, yeah, that's me.
Okay, I'm excited too, Tiffany. And then you talked about the Tiffany the Diamond, talking about like some of the things that you have been through and that how that diamond was formed. So, like the perfect analogy. Can you maybe just give people a little tiny bit of insight as to what you have been through that caused you to make that transformation?
Certainly. So I spent about 19 years in a relationship that I shouldn't have been in that long. I won't say that I shouldn't have ever been in it. I did have children out of that relationship whom I loved dearly and they dearly loved me, but I stayed there too long.
Mm,
I call that the fire. There was um, physical, mental, emotional abuse there.
mm,
Um, and when I came out, when I finally decided to get out and figure out who I was and step into my purpose, the diamond. Because if you think how a diamond is formed, it's formed out of pressure,
yeah, it is.
lots of pressure, high pressure. And nowadays they even have what they call lab grown diamonds. They're still diamonds, but they're also formed from a lot of pressure and heat. Um, and I say that I was under a lot of pressure. I was under a lot of heat. Out of that pressure and heat, the diamond. That's where that comes from.
Okay, I love it. I'm just sharing this on a couple of our communities. You know, we have our Instagram communities, we have our Facebook communities, so it's quite a
Certainly,
bit, quite
certainly.
a bit. But I really want to give everyone an opportunity to feel and experience what it would be like for them to come on and get a coaching session. And I'm doing it live. And this is a lot for me, Tiffany, because I am a very private person. I am not, um, I'm not a very, look at what's going on in my life. I don't do that. I might talk about my business and my dreams and my aspirations. But when it comes to like things that I might be going through behind the scenes, I'm very private with that. And I think that just comes from how I was raised and how I grew up, and also seeing, a hardworking mother who just made things happen behind the scenes, even on days that were really hard. And, through those hard days came out smiles, but you wouldn't know a lot of the stresses that she was going through. So, seeing that, you start to become that example in your own life for the better and for the worse, in a sense of I can take on things, I can prioritize things, and I could be going through a really terrible day and you'd never know it. We would just be smiling and laughing and making jokes and all kinds of
Mhm.
stuff, and I could have had the worst day ever. And that can be a superpower, but it can be a little hard to transition into like personal relationships where vulnerability is encouraged because you're just so used to having to turn that off to make sure that things happen. So, with that also comes a level of high privacy where you are not very open, but for sometimes for good reasons. Um, I've never been a fan of like having all my business out there. I'm just not, because I think people have an entitlement where they start to think that they have the right to judge, and they were never asked the question. Like they've created their own idea. Oh well, I don't think you should. Who told you I cared about what you thought? So I just don't put it out there. Because naturally that's what it does. It invites a conversation or a dialogue that I'm not really looking for. I do look for information, I do look for healing and growth, but I try to be very intentional about where I look and how I get it and how I process it. Because if you just take in everything that people are saying and you listen to everything that a person says, you'll be all over the place trying to please everybody. And everybody has their own motives, everybody has their own life, their own beliefs, their own systems. And that's why you need to go to professionals that are trained or have been training in how to assess your needs and your wants, so they're not projecting their wants and their needs onto your life. You know, that's
Makes
so
sense.
so
Yeah.
that's kind of where I've been. Never done, never gone live on a session. So I'm going to share this in a couple more communities, and then we're gonna get started.
All right. And just so people know, when you do book with me, we are not live. It is private. Privacy is and privacy and confidentiality are number one for me. I do know that it is very hard to discuss anything intimate with someone that you don't know. However, Catan has so graciously decided to give people a glimpse of what goes on, because we have talked about on previous podcasts what to expect when you're signing up for coaching,
Yeah,
how you can have a better relationship with your coach, um, and vice versa. How can the coach make it better for the client as well? So I think
yeah,
that's what this is. But when you book, it's private. I don't discuss it with anyone. Now, who you discuss it with, it's up to you. I don't. That is, and it is also a part of a contract that I send out. So I have to keep my end as well.
okay. I love that. I appreciate you giving that disclaimer for people that might be wondering, are you guys gonna just be doing live sessions? Because I don't know about that. Don't be worried. Don't be nervous. You do have your privacy, and even though I was talking to Tiffany about how I really feel like she needs the Radiantly Crowned show where people come on and talk about their lives, similar like how people did with the Oprah Winfrey or the Dr. Phil show, but we need the Radiantly Crowned show now, um, or the Tiffany Tidwell
I'm
show.
very open to that. Do you think
Yeah,
people
because
would come on? Like, would they come
absolutely,
on and be?
absolutely, absolutely. Because there's so many people going through like really rough stages in their life right now, and if they're able to come on and maybe inspire someone else to get help or to find support, they might want to do that. I think that when I watch those shows and I look at some of the stories that people are experiencing, they're very intimate stories that you would think like, how could a person feel so comfortable with, talking about that on national TV or in front of a whole audience? And I think that the thing that drove them, I truly believe what drove them to show up to that place is knowing that somebody else out there might be going through the same thing. And if I can come on and be that voice and talk about what I've experienced, I might give someone else enough courage to question what they're going through and say, hey, maybe this isn't healthy. And I think that's a question that a lot of people don't ask themselves, because it's easier not to.
Yeah.
So,
Every
you know,
voice, every story needs to be told, and every story needs to be heard. Because it
exactly.
definitely can help someone else. So I greatly appreciate you for even giving people a glimpse into
Thank you.
what needs to be
Okay,
heard.
well, I dropped my polls. I shared the videos. Um, everybody, if you have not already voted, vote if you can. If you can't vote, let me know. I'm kind of watching the. Oh, okay, so you can see it, but I don't know if everybody's able to vote. I'm not sure if they're able to vote. That's a good point. Okay, just let me know if you're able to vote. If you're not, that's okay. Ah, okay. So Charlie said, I've had life coaching. It was very beneficial. Okay. Thank you for the feedback, Charlie. I feel like, and Charlie has talked about this too, because she's been an advocate for getting assistance, getting support, getting help, whether that be through counseling, therapy, coaching, but not being afraid to ask for that support in your life. So she is very much a big advocate on mental health and going
Absolutely.
to professionals, and understanding what it is your needs are so you can find the right person to help you meet them. So I do want to shout out Charlie Shops. Appreciate you, Charlie. Charlie is one of our, yeah, she's one of our directory members. She does custom gift baskets.
Cool.
Yes, I was like,
Oh,
mm-hmm.
I think I've seen her. I think I've
Custom
seen
gift
her on a
baskets.
podcast with you. I,
Yeah.
yeah.
She does also home decorating too. She's the founder of ckdhomestaging.com. And if you have a home that you need furnished, she does that. But also, if you just have, like, you can say what kind of basket you're looking for. Like if you have a birthday coming up or a girls' night, or you just want a spa pedicure basket, or if you love tea, she made me a tea lover's basket with a little honey thing that you swirl inside the tea. Perfect.
She
Chef's
ships?
kiss. Chips. No, it was like a
No, she ships.
Oh,
She'll
she
ship it to
ships.
you?
Yes,
She can
yes.
ship
I was like, chips. I was like, I don't eat chips with tea,
it.
but
No, I
I was
have a
like, I'm
birthday
giving it
coming,
away.
and so I'm thinking
I
about
had to do
myself.
it. Yes, she ships. She's based out of coastal Virginia area, but she ships nationwide,
Okay.
for her baskets, and then she does worldwide for her home decorating and home staging. So, she's the bomb. She's the
Wait a
truth.
minute. She does worldwide for the home decorating and home.
Home staging. So,
Wow.
there's, because there's two different needs. Home decorating is like, you need your home decorated. Maybe you want to up your space and you just want to
Mhm,
feel like it's your space. Home
mhm.
staging is you're getting ready to sell your home, or maybe you have an Airbnb rental and you need something that looks professional and kind of, suits everybody. So when you're staging a home, it's just like when you go into those those decorating places where you go to get, home furniture. They don't
Okay.
make it, yeah, they don't make it look like a very eclectic or specific style. They try to make it a generalized style to give you a blank canvas of what it could look like. So that's what you're supposed to do when you're staging a home, because it gives the buyers a chance to say, I could see the possibilities in this room, instead of trying to use your personal design preferences. You let a professional come in and give them a neutral staging that still looks clean and crisp. So that's what she
That
does.
makes
And
sense.
then, yeah, so it's two different things. It's for the, you want to sell the home, you want to sell the space, you want to rent out Airbnb. If you have an upcoming event and you need the entire event decorated and staged, like maybe you're doing a speaking event and you want the whole stage decorated, you want a tablecloth, you want the colors to match, she could ship all the items and tell you exactly how the setup needs to look. And then if you are just wanting to decorate your home and have your space looking nice, she can create a mood board, and she can also, ship the items to your doorstep for your decorations. So,
Wow. That's good to know.
you're welcome, Charlie. You're welcome. Yeah, she's on point when it comes to that decorations. But I love her baskets. Like, I will stand by those baskets for the rest of my life. She sent me a tea lovers basket, and then a foot care basket. But the foot care basket had like, something for exfoliation. I had my, files. I had some bath bombs. It was nice. It was nice.
How far in advance do you have? Because, like I said, my birthday's coming.
Wait. Oh, your birthday is coming because you're a
September, baby.
Virgo.
Virgos.
She said September,
Only the
baby.
best people on the planet.
Listen, my mom's a Virgo, so I can't even
Only the
argue.
best. Only the
Yeah,
best.
my mom's a Virgo. She's pretty solid, so you might be onto something. But you might be onto something, Tiffany. Um, but no, I didn't even think about that. So you're like towards the end of September, the middle.
The middle baby, 13th. The 13th.
See, you're on that side of Virgos. Those are the solid Virgos. Because you know they say that there's breakdowns of Virgos and of all signs. There's two different signs. So you got like the early Cancers, the late Cancers, the early Virgos, the middle, and all that other stuff. You're right in the middle. But don't let me get started on astrology. But yes, you do want to get it in advance. You want to tell her what you're looking for in advance. And then if you tell her like around what your price point is, she'll find a basket that aligns with that. But if you want her to come up with something customized and give you a quote, she can do that as well. Because it just depends on the size of the basket. She's shipped me baskets that were this small, with a couple of items like self-care, all the way up to like huge baskets that I did for my soft girl Sunday events, and they were amazing. That Mardi Gras event was the bomb. It was good stuff. Oh, chef's kiss. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna lie to you. It was good. Um, okay, so let's go ahead and do this session. We got a few people joining us. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your likes. I appreciate you. I'm the owner of BossBabeBlog.com. We have a certified life coach, Tiffany the Diamond, joining us from RadiantlyCrowned.com. Let me see if I can drop her website in the comments for everyone. And you guys can go check her out. She has a coaching program available right now. You can actually go get a free consult. She's providing free 30-minute or free 1 hour life coaching sessions for 20 people only. Once she reaches 20 people, she will have ran out. So make sure you jump on that before it's too late. We already got a couple people jumping on because of our Stepping for Change collaboration. And so she has that. And then if you are someone that's like, no, I already know what I want to sign up for the services, then you want to go and check out her page that says join our program and look at the two different packages. She has a double package where you can purchase 2 sessions in one. And then she has a trio package where you can purchase 3 sessions. So like a triple package. So there you have it. Thank you for the likes. Oh, thank you guys. Getting these live notifications. Okay. I'm ready, Tiffany.
All right.
Oh, I'm gonna drink some water.
Are you okay?
I think so.
All right. Okay. So, Katan, what is top of mind for you? What do you want to discuss tonight? Now, let me start here. You may see me writing, just taking notes. I take notes so that I can look back and see how I can elevate myself so I can be of more service to you over the next time. Um, everything is safe with me. You are safe. Okay. What's on the top of your mind tonight?
Okay. So I would say there's two things. The first thing is just what would you say are some recommendations to continue furthering my emotional development, that you feel like you recommend to people? Um, that's one thing. Another thing is, you know, learning how to navigate through this dating realm and making sure that my boundaries, I'm still setting in my boundaries, but I'm not being so harsh with people, because I don't want to come across harsh. Or well, actually, I don't. Let me take that back. This is an honest session. I don't care how I come across, but I do want to be intentional, and I want to make sure that everything that I'm doing aligns with my growth. um, and I wonder if maybe there's even better ways to communicate some of my needs, some of my desires as I'm going through this dating stage. Because, and I'll give you an example. I just recently had an experience with an individual where I did communicate that I have a very busy schedule. I did communicate that I was taking a break for my birthday and I was not going to be on technology. Um, for some reason, this individual continued to text me every day for probably about 3 or 4 days after I already said I'm not going to be on my technology. So I was confused. I felt like I communicated that very clearly, but that wasn't where the breakdown happened. The breakdown happened afterwards because I think there was already a buildup of frustration, maybe on their end from texting and messaging me and not getting a response. But I did communicate and say, I will not be on technology. So it's like, I don't know how else to communicate things like that. Like, I felt like that was clear. Um, but fast forward, and I think the breakdown happened when we were supposed to plan, or I was supposed to get some dates planned out, and I failed to get back on planning out the dates because I forgot that I was supposed to be planning the dates. And in the process of doing that, there was like a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit clearly that person was upset, and they sent me a little message. It was a little spicy, and I was like, you know what? I think what I said was, let me find the message, and I'll paraphrase it so that I'm not going too much into depth. Uh, Okay. So this is what I said, and I feel proud of how I responded, but I just wonder if maybe there's better ways to communicate with clarity, but also without beating a dead horse, if that makes sense. Finding that balance. I don't want to feel like I'm that person that's overly consistent in saying something because I'm not desperate to get, like, I'm not trying to make, there's different kinds of communication. There's ego driven communication, and then there's like effective or intentional communication. And it's not an ego driven communication that I'm pursuing when I tell people my schedule or when I tell them what my expectations are. It's that I genuinely want to make sure that there's an understanding so we don't have misunderstandings. But long story short, there was a misunderstanding because there was a frustration. And then also, in the process of that, the person got upset. They had a bit of attitude, not a bit. It was a lot. It was a bit much for me. So I just responded with, the tone in which you're communicating with me is not something that I'm interested in participating in or reciprocating. But I do wish you the best, and I'll be moving on. So that was my response. Um, because I felt like anything else, I was just going to be going tit for tat, and that wasn't my goal in the conversation. Um, and I will say that I can take accountability for getting to the planning and scheduling part, but the time that this individual met me was during like a busy time. Like, I had just got done with my vacation, or I had planned my vacation. I was taking my vacation, and then I was coming back from my vacation for my birthday, taking a break, no technology. I'm wondering if there's different ways that I can communicate those things again without feeling like I'm beating a dead horse. Um, I'm wondering what are ideas or, ways that you might encourage someone to go about the dating realm when they are abstaining, because in this age, a lot of people are very instant gratification focused. And there's nothing wrong if we're all adults. If you are safe, if you are direct, do what you do, live your life. Because I'm live mine. But I'm not in a space where I'm motivated by like instant gratification. Like, I'm looking for something a little bit more long term, and it feels like a waste of my time to be in a space with a person if it's temporary, even if I feel like it might be fun. I like to have fun in my life, but there's many ways to have fun, and I just don't want to do it that way. I mean, some people like to do it, but I ain't trying to do it. Um, I'm not trying to be all up on people like that. And I just wonder if that's being received, or if I need to communicate that a little bit more clearly on my journey. Um, you know what I mean? If there's cues, I need to see the cue and say, okay, this is where I need to communicate that this isn't that. But at the same time, I don't want to be that person that's like, oh, I'm not doing that, because that's no fun. I just want to be natural. You know what I mean? I want to be natural, but in the same breath, keep your lips to yourself. Is that too much to ask?
We're gonna get to it.
You said what?
We're gonna get to it.
It's the breath that she took. Y'all, this might be my last little session, and she might be booting me out after this.
No. We're gonna get to it. So let me start with the first one, with the recommendations for furthering emotional development. Now, let me just put a disclaimer out there. I'm not a therapist, not a medical professional, certified life coach, and if at any point, if we were booking, or even in this session, if I saw where it would require scope of some help that I could not, that goes beyond my scope of practice, I would definitely stop and let you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my recommendations for furthering your or for anyone that wants to further their emotional development, depends on where you are. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, coaching is a great tool.
Yeah.
Journaling, therapy. I'm a
Journaling.
big advocate. Yes, journaling,
Therapy. Yeah.
writing it down, putting it out there. Maybe if you can't say it to someone, but you can write it on a piece of paper. You can put it out there on a piece of paper, and you can write whatever you want to write, whatever words you want to write. It's very releasing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Therapy. I'm a big advocate for therapy. If if it's something from your past maybe that's hindering you from growing emotionally, something very deep that a coach can't help you with, I would highly recommend that you see a therapist. I think there was a stigma attached to therapy for a while that
Yeah.
shied people away, especially in the Black community. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
The shy people away, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's only helping you regulate and getting that stuff out, up and out, so that you can grow emotionally.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, I gotta put this one out here. Like we have the step 4 challenge steps,
Mm-hmm.
exercise, fitness. Believe it or not, that can help you grow emotionally. Getting
Definitely.
out there, taking a brisk walk, getting out, getting some air, walking, going to the gym, getting letting it out on the treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be some of my recommendations for getting
I
you
need to
some
get
energy.
back to the journaling part. I do journal, but I've been doing more so like what my journaling looks like in the morning is more of like I give myself affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I will look up the quote of the day or the word of the day. Like estival. Estival was one of my words of the day. I did not even know that was a word. It is. It's basically having summer like qualities, which makes sense because then you think of the word festival, and that's
Yeah.
around the time when it's warm and festive or whatnot. But yeah, that was random. But in my journal, I write like the word of the day. I write the quote of the day, and then I give myself an affirmation, and then I write down my financial goals for that week and how far away I am to achieving them. So that's what I do usually every day or every other day. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
I have not journaled my emotions in a long time.
And what if you, instead of first thing in the morning, if you did it before or when your day ended?
Yeah, I
What was
might
I
try.
feeling that day?
I think I would like that because when I'm doing the morning, my brain is already wired to like I'm learning, I'm taking in because at 4 a.m. your brain is the most like susceptible, I guess, or around that early stages, like you're taking in information. It's like a sponge during
Mm-hmm.
that time. So I use that time to grow, doing trainings, affirmations, quotes, finances. That's my time for that. But the evening time after a long day, after like feeling like I've been a little stressed, maybe need to wind down, I feel like that's a great way to get my emotions out and then rest. Because for me, what I used to do is in work, whenever I couldn't go to sleep because of something that I was thinking about, like I had a business idea that I just couldn't get off my mind, I would instantly go write it down in my journal, and I would do that until I got tired. But I haven't been like journaling just my personal thoughts about my day and stuff like that. I'm gonna have to get a lock on my
Oh,
journal because I'm about to
yes.
be talking about these people, Tiffany. So I need me a
Talk
sturdy
about them
journal.
like dogs in your journal and put it up on your mattress.
Not like dogs.
Yeah. Talk about them like
No, now I gotta
yes.
find a new spot because people are live. I can't, you ain't about to go underneath my mattress. I saw on the live. She said it wasn't under the mattress. But no, that is a really good point. So maybe I will do that. I got to get a new journal because most of mine are pretty much all written into. Um, so I need to do that. And then I do need to write in my journal.
Write it out.
Yeah.
What
Let me
what
take my notes.
who teed me off today? What was
Yeah.
I feeling when they said that to me?
You know what? And now that you said that, that has given me an idea. When I'm experiencing these things, like while I'm going through this dating realm, I already don't say much to people, but the fact that I don't say it, I hold it, and then I just release you, is great. But I think that I might journal. That might even help with the
Let's
release.
help with processing.
Yeah,
Processing it.
yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. And you know what I used to do? I stopped writing to him, but I used to write to my future husband. I stopped writing to him because I think he just got lost on the way to getting to me. So, um, I don't write to him anymore. But I did have a journal for my future husband, and I have a journal for my future children. If I decide to have children biologically, or if I decide to adopt a whole bunch of children and, be that cat and dog lady and have some kids as well. But I did write to both of them. Would you like to hear it? What do you think?
Sure.
Just
Sure.
just for inspiration, just in case somebody else is needing that, because I didn't think about that. I do need me.
Writing, I'm telling you,
Let me see. Hold on.
writing will do so much. Um, I forgot to mention this one. Lord forgive me. This is the first one I should have mentioned. With anything, of course, prayer. Pray it out. Take it to the Lord and leave it there.
Heavy on leave it there. Okay. Let's see. This is what I got. All right. So I have these journals. I'm not going to read all of them because we'd be here all night. But I do have one. So I have one for my future husband. And I actually created a table of contents on the side of the journal, which is hilarious.
My
So
goodness.
when you read it, every time I wrote, like, and now that I think about that, maybe I do need to just get back to this. Even if that's not my future, it is therapeutic and it's peaceful. So that is another positive way to do that. But so I have support, positivity, affirming, motivation, grace, relaxation, dreams, advice, vulnerability, pain, fear, praise, longing, strength, and I think that's all of them. So basically, whenever he feels like he needs words of support or encouragement on these different topics, um, that's where you can go to the pages that are on there and you can read them. So that's what I did, like a little table of contents. But I hadn't written in a minute. Like I said, I think he got lost on the way to me, Tiffany. But let's see if we can find one that I think you might like. Um, I hope he's okay with me reading this out loud to everyone. Ooh. Okay, so here's one. This is for support. This is love letter number one. And then I have a different nickname for each one, so just bear with me. Dear Hubbaroni, read this letter when you have had a long day and need just a little love. I'm sending you all the hugs, love, strength, grace, and understanding your way because I know as a man you carry so much on your strong shoulders. I want you to know that even though you are my Superman, you are still human and that's okay. With love, Katan.
That's so sweet.
Thank you.
That
So
is
I
so
do
sweet.
have something like that. And then I did do one for my future children. But this one's a little different because, like I said, I'm at a state right now. I think I mentioned earlier to you, but it was off camera, where I have an idea of what I think I would like when it comes to family building and stuff like that. But I'm not desperate and I don't want to jump into a relationship simply out of wanting to be on a label, if that makes sense. So
It
like,
does.
sometimes people like I have to be married by this age, so let me get in this relationship, or I have to have children by that age, so let me do this. But I don't want that to be the reason why I choose to be with a person. I want the reason why I choose to be with them is because I want to be with them, not because of something that I feel like I'll be missing if I don't have them, if that makes sense too.
It
So,
does.
yeah. So for this one, I wrote to my biological children or my adoptive children, and I just kind of made sure that they knew that, regardless of which one it was, I've chosen them as my children. So that's what I did. And This one, I don't know if I have something that's short. But basically, whenever I'm going through something in my life, which now that I think about it, this might actually be the one I need to be doing at night. If I go through something stressful, irritating in business, in life, in romance, finance, whatever it might be, I go and I write it in a journal, but I write it to my future children as a lesson so that they can read through the journal. We know kids don't listen, and half the stuff that our parents tell us, we still go out there and and we have to fall a couple times. But to have a journal or a guide where I'm walking through some of these things might make that person feel a little less lonely. And if anything were to happen to me, they still have a part of me that they can use throughout their life. You know what I mean?
A legacy.
Yeah. So that's
That's
kind of,
really good because I if we don't utilize writing, there will come a point where just not long
yeah.
from now, they won't even know what it. Everyone
Yeah. They don't do
texts,
cursive. That's
computers,
why I did it in
predicts.
cursive. I'm gonna teach my children cursive, biological or not. If you under my roof, you gonna learn that cursive. So, because it is crazy that they weren't teaching that in schools. Like I've had people say, I think they stopped at a certain grade, but
It
this is
is.
history. Like, how do you sign your signature?
My
How do you
daughter
sign your
cannot
signature? Yeah,
cannot.
that's scary to know
They
that.
stopped it in Arkansas. I think they started it back because I have a child under her who can, but she cannot.
Mm,
She can write really neat, but
yeah,
she cannot sign. And I said, "How do you
sign.
a signature
Yeah,
look, a signature hairdo, a signature anything differentiates one from another?" I thought
yeah.
because that's crazy, right?
It is crazy because handwriting is, you can differentiate handwriting, but not as easy as you could someone signing and how they do loops and
Someone
stuff like
signing.
that. At
Yeah.
least not me. I'm not an expert, but when I'm looking at, sometimes people can have similar handwritings, but then when I see their signatures, I'm like, oh, okay, that's that person. So that is crazy. But I did all of these in cursive writing. Well, most of them actually. But let me see. I'm gonna give you a short one. Okay, so this is what I did. I said, "Dear love bugs, you'll be so proud of mommy, just like she is proud of you for." Oh yeah, I wrote this for all ages because I know they might read it when they're younger. So it's supposed to go into as they get older. So we start off with just simple, sweet mommy love you, da 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 da, and then as you get older, some of the things that you might go through. Um, let's see. Enjoy this book that I wrote for you. Read it, learn from it, and when you have siblings, allow them to do the same. I wrote this book for all of my future children, the ones that I create and the ones that were gifted to me in a different way. I love you all before I even met you, and please know I am always with you, Mama.
That's so
So
sweet.
thank
That's beautiful.
you, thank
Okay.
you. So when you said that, I thought, you know what? I do need to have I don't know if I'll start a new journal where I just go talk about my emotions like you said, or if I'll keep journaling on these. I think I'll start a new journal because like I said, he got lost in the sauce. I don't know where he's at right now, but he's struggling. So I'm gonna just let him chill. And then them, we don't know when they're gonna get here. And I so I got plenty more to write for them. But that's what popped in my mind. So anyone else who's thinking about journaling, maybe that'll give you some inspiration. These kind of are based off of that. Answer my question. These are based off of external things. I do think I need a journal simply for me internally about my thoughts and my emotions versus things that are outside of me or people that are outside of me. So I like that. Um, and then what was the other thing that you said? Oh yes, therapy is always good. Um, and then we need some therapists in our directory too.
You do.
Uh, what was the other one that you said?
Um, I said exercise, but then I also said, and I when you got up, I said I didn't say this. God forgive me, but prayer.
Mm,
Um, I believe in God.
yeah,
That's who I pray to. Whoever, if you don't, that's okay. Whoever it is that you pray to, whatever higher being, um, definitely go to him. I
yeah,
talk to God with everything. Talk to him just like because he is my father. and I go to him with everything. And I tell you what, if that don't grow you emotionally, nothing will. No.
So internal, basically.
Yes.
Ugh. Okay, and then what else you got for me on the other side of things?
Okay. And so we want
Oh,
to
don't
talk
scare me.
about better communication, dating with intention, and abstinence while dating.
Yeah,
So
communicating those boundaries, but without, like, I'm
without
not trying
seeming
to be that
harsh.
person. Yeah, who's always I don't do that. Nah. I don't even want to do that because I don't care to do that. My mindset has always been just be who you are. But in the same breath, in this day and age, it almost feels like it's not clicking. Like the instant gratification is like it takes over people's minds because I told that person that I was on vacation and I was not going to be on my technology, and I still received a message every morning for 3 or 4 days. I didn't open them, so I didn't know that it was every single day. But when I did open it to see that you sent me a message every morning for 3 or 4 days after I just said I will be on vacation and I will be coming back, it goes into abstinence, but it also goes into just like this weird like energy of people just thinking that everything is supposed to be instant for them. And that's not how two people work. That's not how a relationship works. Like you're not just gonna get it instantly. You gotta work towards that. We gotta build that. But how do we create that balance when communicating that? You know? I don't want to be too harsh.
So when you got the when you finally opened the notifications,
Yeah.
what what did that bring up for you?
Um Agitation. Like that itch that you get when when you were outside and you caught some poison ivy or something, you just can't get the itch off of you, like a scratch, like a it's just like it was an urge to want to say, did you not get it? Or, like to give a response, but I didn't respond to it at all. But it just brought up a icky feeling of, let me not say icky, what's the word? Maybe overwhelmed, like this too much, or like, irritated. That might be the best way to describe it. A little agitated, a little irritated. Just like, why? Why? I didn't understand. Confusion. Yeah, I went through a lot of words, but I think the best word is probably going to be confusion, the urge to want to respond, and irritation.
Okay. Now I heard you say earlier that you know you you think that in dating or in any realm you should just be yourself.
Yeah.
And then I just heard you say that it brought up some confusion for you.
Hmm.
When you say confusion, what I mean, tell me how it confused you. I want to stay there for a minute.
Um, I think it confused me because I felt like I had communicated clearly and directly and maturely, which not that that is all hard to do, but sometimes with the hecticness of my lifestyle, it can be hard to try to maintain like long-term communication through text messages and stuff like that. It's hard. I have a lot of notifications in a day. I am working nonstop, traveling. So I was working really hard to communicate these things. And I thought I did. At least I thought I did. And who knows, maybe I didn't, but I felt like I went through my technology on all my devices or platforms or whatever. And to the people that I knew were reaching out for, whatever reason, I expressed I will be on vacation. I will be taking a break. When I get back, I love to hang out or talk to you. I expressed that, including with that individual. So it just kind of, I was confused, like, why are you still texting me every morning? And that goes back to that feeling of like, how else do you communicate to people who are so worried about instant. I couldn't tell, like, was that like your way of trying to be romantic? But we just started talking, so it just kind of giving, it's just looking a little crazy to me.
So the way you communicated it,
Yeah,
would you say that that was Catan? Was that being yourself? The way you communicated that you wouldn't be available?
that's a really good question, and I guess I have to feel like I have to look at it to say the answer to that. Um, let me see. Gotta search it. Gotta find it. It's kind of deep in my text messages. Okay, so I said, let me see. I'm not gonna say exactly what it is because I don't want to call nobody. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you talking about me?" No, no. Um. Okay. I feel like it was said. I just want to let you know, getting ready to go on my birthday break, so I won't be on technology, but I'll come back next weekend and see if you're free to do something. I felt like, yeah, yeah, I did. I felt like it was, and because it wasn't the only person that I sent this message to. Um, and like I said, and I just felt like that was an effective, quick way to get it across. No drama, no nothing. I thought
Okay.
about sharing more, but then I felt like I don't want to overshare.
What would have been oversharing?
Um, Going through a long spew of, how I get tired when I'm on technology because of the jobs that I do, and I felt like, let's just keep it simple, because I think when you're communicating with people, simplicity is key sometimes. So that's why I didn't do all of that, because I felt like also by doing that they might get the wrong idea and think that I'm trying to justify my thought process or what I'm doing when I'm not looking for advice from that individual on that. I'm not looking to justify it or explain it to them. I'm looking to tell them what it is I'm doing and allow them to make the decision on what they want to do next, if that makes sense. If you get what I'm
It
saying.
does. It
Okay.
does.
I know
And
if I worded
here's
that clearly.
yeah. And
Okay.
here's what I hear you saying. I'm not looking for advice. I'm being myself. I made it clear. Um,
Yep.
so then, and I'm hearing you say this, and you're sure about this, and I'm gonna ask you this: is this a boundary for you? Is this a set boundary?
Not being on my technology or
Mhm.
just not being
Not
bombarded after I communicate with a person.
not being on your technology. When you say you're not answering, is that a boundary?
Yeah. Because I just don't like, I guess, and when you say boundary, I don't
Mhm.
know if maybe I'm thinking too deep into it, but it's like I don't even know if I want to call it that. But if that's what it is, and that's what it is. But for me, it's just like I just don't want to do it. Like I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? It's like just like if you go out to a party and someone says, "Hey, have a drink." If I don't want to drink, I just don't want to drink. Like that's just not my style. This is not what I do. That's not what I take pleasure in. I don't like it. And that's how I feel about technology and dating. Like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to text you all day. I don't want to text. Heck, forget about dating, friendship, family, anybody. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. I feel like, is there not another way that you can just know that I love you and care about you? Because I just don't want to do it. I don't know if it's because of the fact that I'm on technology quite a bit. I have to answer to a lot of collaborations, a lot of people, planning, clients, and I love what I do. But I do it. I do it wholeheartedly and I do it intensely. So when it's time to rest, I feel like it's time to rest. And resting for me does not equate to having 31 questions in a text message. To me, that equates to bothersome, worrisome. I'm tired. I want to leave already. I want to leave before we even started. That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. And I don't
And
know. Am I emotionally unavailable? Or is it just that I don't like technology? Because I feel like I'm emotionally open, and willing to be available when it aligns. I am not emotionally available for everyone, and I do not start off with a whole bunch of emotional availability. And again, I could be wrong on that mindset, but I just don't. I'm not available for everyone. Um,
And you
but
shouldn't
again,
be.
yeah. See, and that's what I feel. So I'm like, I just don't. I don't want to do it. I don't want to text all day. Like I got a text message, somebody talking about some. So how's your day going and what are you doing and da. That's really nice. Like it's a really nice gesture. I don't want to do it. Meet me at a location. Let's you know, let's message in person. Like let's communicate in person. I don't know. I don't want to do that. Back to back all day. I need to be like this all day, like on a phone. I don't want to live my life through a device. I don't.
So, so I
Hey,
would call
Deron.
those boundaries.
Mhm.
You say I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Tell me what the difference is. What to you? What's a boundary for you? And what's
Okay. I thought a boundary was like, for example, if I'm messaging someone and they call me and they say, "Hey, I want to text you," and they start texting me, and I send them a message and I say, "If you text me, I'm not going to be able to respond to you because I don't like text messaging." Or I guess I thought the boundary was more so not a consequence, but like this is what I'm doing if you do this. And I don't know, maybe it is the same thing because when I get those messages and stuff, I just I don't respond. I just don't respond at all. And then that's the other thing too. Sometimes it's not even like I'm looking and I'm reading the message. Sometimes I have not even opened the messages because I just don't feel like I have the time in the day to sit and open every single message. It feels impossible to do that on every platform. Phones, and I said phones plural, not one. So on phones, on emails, on DMs, personal, communication from team members, like, I just don't feel like I have all of the time in the world to do that. And then I guess one step further, I don't want to have all the time in the world to do that because I don't feel like our lives were meant to be that way. I think that phones and technology is unnatural. So I don't know. Maybe I felt like the difference was with the boundary was like you're being directly firm about it and you're communicating it. But then again, you don't have to communicate boundaries to have them. I didn't think about that.
you don't have to communicate boundaries to have them, but you
Yeah.
have to make them clear.
Okay.
Do
Okay.
you make you have to make them clear. So are you being clear when you communicate? Or you just have you clearly communicated what it is that you're feeling as far as technology? I don't want to text all day. Have you clearly communicated that to the person? Or are
Um.
you just thinking, have you told yourself, because we got to think about it. Hear
Mhm.
me out.
I'm hearing.
We
I'm
have
listening.
we have the way we feel, and we have what we're not going to do. I say that's our boundaries. But if we
Yeah.
haven't made it clear to the other person of what it is that we're, this is what I feel, this is what I'm not doing, this is as
Mhm.
far as I'm going. If we haven't made that clear, how would they know?
That's a really good question. I do. I think at one point in time, maybe I have not been as. I could have. There's always room for improvement. I will say that there's always an area where I can be even more clear. Clear. Um, I did feel like in this situation, I was clear about the fact that I was not going to be on technology. Um, and so that's where the confusion came into play. But there's always an opportunity to just express that even further in the beginning. I think maybe I don't always go straight into that because sometimes people aren't even going to text me, so I don't want to start off. Just to be clear, I don't text. I don't call. I don't, I didn't want to start off like that if that's not even the way that they're approaching me. I wanted to give people an opportunity to show me what their speed is. And then from there, like if you are texting me constantly, hey, I'm not going to be on my technology. I work a lot. I don't really like to text too much, or I have a busy schedule. Um, but I can see how it could be productive if even more productive if in the beginning I say it, one time, and then if it comes up again, I can repeat it. And maybe that wouldn't be me being like redundant, or you know what I mean? I think there's that, for some reason I have this focus on not wanting to what's the word? I'm wanting to make sure that the communication isn't coming from, they understand that this is not ego driven communication, because I've been around people in relationships and like in romance where it is ego driven. But that doesn't always have to be the case, and I want them to understand the intentions behind me communicating that, if that makes sense. So me not wanting to be redundant is a part of me not wanting to push something on them or talk about something that they may not have even been thinking about to begin with, you know? So that's the,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I think about.
But what would it look like if you just were to go ahead right up front and just have that conversation up front? What would that look like?
Um, I think it would look like, oh, hold on one moment. I'm sorry. I'm getting a notification from my assistant. Um, Give me 1 second. It looks like we have a lot of packages to pick up for this Soft Girl Sunday. Um, okay. So, oh, I apologize, everyone. I'm still working even though we're off, but I guess I ignored my notifications a little bit too long today. Okay, so ask me. She blowing up that phone a lot. So okay, so the question that you had for me, can you ask me that again, please? I
Sure.
apologize.
So I've heard you say, what it looks like when you're just trying to feel them out. You don't have
Yeah,
the conversation up front about how
yeah.
you feel about technology. What would it look like if you were to have that conversation right up front?
Are you asking me what am I afraid of happening, or what do I think the worst case scenario would be?
What would it, what would it look like? What
Feel like
what
I'm
holds
American
you
now.
back from holding that
Um.
conversation up front?
Okay, I guess it is. Maybe this is me taking responsibility for other people's thought process, because I'm thinking that by having that conversation too early, um I'm making an assumption that A, we're gonna even be that far, but B, I mean, why wouldn't we? Because I'm amazing, right? But sometimes things don't work out, or we're just not in that same space. So number one, I'm making an assumption that things are gonna be that far down the line. And I feel like I don't need to be trying to project that far. I just need to, like, let's just go. But then again, as I'm saying that out loud, we still have to talk to get there. So it could be effective to have that conversation very early. um Maybe it's because people are not very receptive sometimes. Like, they say they are, and they say to tell them how you're feeling and those kind of things, but when given that insight and that straight up um advice, or when you talk about what you like, you don't like early like that, um they're not always very receptive. I'm not looking for a debate. um I do have the tendency to just kind of like cut, block, and then we just move on. So maybe I was trying to be open minded, but what I'm really doing is decreasing the chance that I'm going to find that person that really understands exactly where I'm coming from, because of my want to be open minded. So that is something that I could consider as well. You know, when I think about that.
I hear you saying open minded. Have you thought about maybe are you telling yourself that they wouldn't receive what you're saying, and then you hold back? Once you do
Could
that,
be
are you still being yourself at that point?
true. Um, I could be. I think I might be doing myself a disservice to wait. Under the mindset of thinking that, you know, by waiting, I'm allowing things to just kind of flow naturally. And then when we get to that space, I can communicate, hey, I don't, do too much texting and stuff. And just kind of, I'm like, what's the word? I look for like a leader, so I like to allow people to lead. So if you're leading with, "Hey, let's meet up," or "Let's do that," I don't want to, push into the idea of, "Well, don't text me because of this or that," because you're not even. I don't feel like it's appropriate or needed if you're starting off that way. But then again,
But if
back.
you are accepting and if you're willing to accept or wait and see what their mindset is,
Hmm.
why can't it be vice versa? Why can't they just accept your
True,
mindset?
true, true. I think maybe I didn't think about it on that end, and also maybe the way that I was going about it was from the standpoint of what I just said. But I think that I'm open to allowing to still looking for that person who likes to take the lead, but also starting off with that conversation and seeing what kind of results come from that. I'm open to that.
You're
I
open
think
to
for
it?
me, I am open to it. I think I'm open to a lot of things that maybe in the past I really was not focused on. We talked about like how you can easily want to like shut down and just, not
Mm-hmm.
really. And I think that I had that moment because of some of the experiences that I was having in this dating pool, whatever you want to call it. But when I first started, my mindset was very eager, very excited, like, ooh, I can't wait to see, how this goes. And thank you, Devon, for your feedback. He said a great conversation. And so, how do you feel about this? What do you think about that? Like, just wanting to have conversation and being open minded and having great energy. And then I quickly found that a lot of people, um, they say a lot of stuff that they're not really about, and they don't really have any intention of backing up. Sometimes it's out of insecurities and out of them wanting you to chase them. And sometimes it's out of them wanting you to get excited about something that they don't have any intention of following through with. And that was a little discouraging and disheartening to the point where I decided I almost just didn't want to date at all. I didn't really want to deal with anybody. But then I had to come to the realization that this doesn't just happen in dating. This happens in friendship. This happens in business. This happens in family. So why would I shut myself off from dating when this happens in every area of my life? I've had business partnerships where a person said they were all about this, this, and that, and then they didn't do it. Did I shut down my business after that partnership? No. I just went and found a different business partner. I've had client relationships where something didn't make sense. Did I say, oh, I'm not taking any more clients? No. I mean, it's easy to say that when you're discouraged in the moment as an entrepreneur, but what would it serve you? You wouldn't find the people who value you. So, did I say I'm not going to take clients? No. I just adjusted and found the clients who truly valued and appreciate what I'm here to provide. Um, and the same thing goes for family and friendship. I've had friendships where I felt let down. I felt like the way that I would approach people was not considered for me. But did that stop me from pursuing others? No, it didn't. So I had to ask myself, why is it when it comes to dating, you've now created this mindset where you just feel like, I don't want to deal with none of y'all. And I didn't understand why I was like that. So I have changed my perspective and my mindset. I am open and I'm willing to try it out.
I hear you saying that you changed your mind. At one point, you were like, I'm just done with it.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're open. You change your mindset. My question is, did you adjust or did you change too much?
Mm. That's a really good question. Okay, I think I did. I adjusted for sure. Um, but I guess my shift went from trying to seek or look for what's out there to focusing on validating myself internally and validating my peace and protecting my peace at all cost. And maybe where I might have lost translation of protecting my peace, of me not having that conversation, of, hey, I don't text or I don't do this. Um, Maybe because I thought that by just letting people be who they are, we go from there. But in a sense, I'm almost not allowing them to show up in a more productive light if I don't just say that, put that out there, and then see where things go from there. So I might have adjusted a little too much. Might have gotten a little too what's the word? Indifferent. Not indifferent, but like I care, but not for too long. Like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna sit and dwell over it for my whole life, like the way people do in many cases. Um, I've just got to a place where I feel I'm not perfect. There are things that I'm working on within my life. I definitely have my up days and I have my down days just like anybody else. But there is something that I'm very proud of that I do safeguard and keep close to me, which is my integrity and my character and my kindness and my love and my ability to light people up. Um, I keep that very close to me, and I think I started falling in love more and more with myself. So, in that process of doing that, I just kind of, I guess, went on autopilot when it came to other people because I'm like, well, do what you want, and if I like it, I'll join, and if I don't, bye. So, maybe I might have leaned a little too hard, a little too hard into that. I could see that.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I didn't think of that.
Um, and I heard you say that you're protecting your peace.
Yeah.
So is it that, and you definitely want to protect your peace?
Yeah.
And I would even go so far as to say I will protect my peace at all costs. Now that I finally found peace,
Yeah.
it's very easy to
Oh my
disrupt
God. Those words are so, they
business.
resonate in my soul. Now that I finally found peace,
Now that I finally
I
found
will
it.
do anything to protect it. I think that right there is like exactly what I feel. Like now that I'm at a space where I can go to sleep at night and not feel stressed out or wake up in the morning worrying about what's going on with another person or stressing out about decisions that somebody else is making in their life that could affect me or does affect me. Now that I don't have to repeat myself, and worry or wonder, like, didn't you hear me? Now that I don't have to experience some of those things that I did experience earlier in my life, because I've chosen myself, I will do anything at any cost to protect it. Even if that means just let people do what they do, show up as they are. And if it makes sense, I'll jump in. And if it doesn't, then deuces. And maybe that's a little bit too hands off for this for this dating journey. Maybe I do need to be a little bit more hands on and not as I don't the word's not indifferent, but it's just like my bubble is here. I'm in my bubble. I'm relaxed. And when you come close to my bubble, that's when I say, hey, if you're going to come into this bubble, you should know X, Y, and Z. But if you're not close to it, I'm just chilling because you're not close to it anyways. And maybe that's not the best approach. So,
I hear you saying, um, I'm in my bubble. If you come close to my bubble, or if you don't, I'm okay. I stay on autopilot. What would it look like? We talked about boundaries
yeah.
earlier. You said, this is what boundaries looks like for me, but this is just something I just don't want to do. But what would
Mm-hmm.
it look like if you assert boundaries? Because here's the thing. I think people think that boundaries are walls and it keeps people out, but actually boundaries are what keep the communication open because they know exactly what you are and what you're not gonna do.
Yeah.
So I go back to again to ask, what would it look like? Or if you asserted your boundaries, we're not gonna say, no, I just don't want to do. If you asserted these as boundaries
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning, what would that look like for you?
Um, I think it would be similar to the conversation that I had about me going on my break. Um, but instead of going on my break, it would just be simply, you know, I'm not a phone person. I do not text, I do not do much texting. You can call me, leave a voicemail, a detailed voicemail. Don't just call me and not leave no voicemail because you ain't getting no response back no time soon. But, I could communicate that and then I could see, well, not even see, but just let them take it as what they want to take it. Take that as an invitation to call, check in, or take that as your way out because you feel like it doesn't align with what you want to do, you know? So I could say that early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
And
guess maybe I'm
then,
looking at it in a negative, not a negative, but I had a different idea of what that means, but in all actuality, it doesn't have to mean anything stressful or
mm-mm,
um, overly serious. It's just me communicating that, you know, early and then allowing people to adjust from there, giving them a chance to adjust from there. Because I guess maybe now that I'm thinking about it, I'm sure that in the past I probably come off as either cold or either had people like running around in the dark, like chicken with the head cut off, because, I clearly have things that I like or I appreciate or I enjoy, but I just let you do what you do. Because my mindset was like, I'll watch and I'll just let people be who they are. And if you're someone that likes this or likes that, then that's just what you like. And I'm not here to push it or try to change it. Um, but then I remember watching a marriage counselor talk about how it's okay to change together or grow together. So it's not necessarily a negative thing. So yeah, I could do that. I can do the same thing that I did for the vacation, but just make it about my communication preferences. But the question is, do I announce it as a boundary or do I just announce it as I don't do this?
I would consider it a boundary.
So that's what I would call it when I'm speaking to someone about it, when I'm meeting them.
Well, you don't have to call it a boundary, but I would
Okay.
consider, because that is something you are asserting. I don't want to, or I am. It's not that you don't want to. I'm not going to be on my phone working my thumbs all day. That's a
Yeah.
boundary.
Yeah.
That's a line that protects your peace. That's a boundary.
Absolutely. Because it's just too much to be trying to keep track of all of that. It really is. It's impossible for me. That's how I truly feel.
That's a boundary, and it protects your peace. And I would make that known up front,
Okay.
because it's only gonna do a couple things. They're either gonna roll with it
Right?
or roll without it, and
Or roll out.
or roll out. And so, if they roll out, was it even worth the time anyway?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
'Cause when we're dating, we do want to meet somebody that's compatible,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure that you're not the only person that doesn't want to text all the time. Plenty of
Yeah.
people want to text all the time. So if we making it known up front, we saving a lot of time.
True. That's very true. Okay. Maybe I need to be a little hands on because I got a little hands off this next time, this next go around. I just kind of got back into that mode of like, okay, I'm open. I have a different attitude. I don't feel angry like I did before. And I think proof of that is that response that I told you that I responded to someone with. That for me is proof that I'm not in the same mental space because if I was, my reaction would have been a lot more explosive. Um, So the fact that I was able to quickly communicate, I'm not willing or wanting to be a part of this kind of a conversation, or this tone, don't want to do that. So I think I'm in a space to do that. I'm open to that. And I could definitely report back and let you know, how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you also mentioned abstinence.
Hmm.
And that's interesting.
Yes. Again, same thing with the instant gratification of messaging and communicating with people. In dating in this day and age, it's like, I don't know. I don't feel the need to do that with every single person that I'm dating. I don't want to do that with every single person that I'm dating. I don't feel like every single person that I'm dating deserves that level of access. And if maybe they get that level of access, I don't feel like they are entitled to it for the rest of their life if things don't make sense. So, um, I guess for me, it was figuring out ways to continue the fun, continue the intimacy emotionally, and still make it fun, upbeat, but also, do I need to communicate that? Do I need to make that even more direct in this day and age because of where we're at this day and age, like with how people are, you know? That those are the questions that pop up in my mind because it's like I feel like that's something that just should be obvious, but maybe I have to just be realistic and say that that's not the day and age we live in. So it's not going to be obvious, and I am going to have to just get in there with that conversation. It just feels so like not distasteful, but like, yeah, a little distasteful. Like, I don't even want to talk about this, but clearly I have to make it clear to you because you're asking questions or you're making movements as if you don't understand that this isn't going to go down the way you think it's going to go down.
And what's wrong with talking about it up front? Because again, I would say that this will be a boundary as well.
Yeah,
What I'm not doing.
I guess it feels like extra work, unnecessary work. It feels draining. It feels like I'm losing brain cells, like having the conversation. It almost makes me feel like if I have to have the conversation, I don't want to, I don't really want to talk to you anymore because it's just tiring. For example, I had a person who we were kind of having a conversation about relationships, and they start talking about how a woman needs to do this and a woman needs to do that, and I said, okay, well, don't you feel like a man needs to do that as well? You don't, or what do you think? And he said, no, a woman needs to do these certain things. And instantly I was out of there. Like, I just lost the energy, I lost the motivation, I was gone. And that's what happens when I have those conversations. And I don't know if that's like an exhaustion thing with me that I have to just pay attention to, or if that's just simply a sign that I'm talking to the wrong person. And when I have to have the conversation, that means that I need to move on to somebody else who has enough common sense or wisdom to know that this isn't a conversation we should even have to be having, because you shouldn't be initiating or making statements as if this is something that we need to be worried about or that I need to be worried about. You know, I don't know if I'm explaining that clearly, but it just feels exhausting.
So is this at the beginning of conversation, like, or is this as time goes on, or is this people that's coming out immediately with?
Um, it's kind of at the beginning. Like, it's past the first hello, how are you, nice to meet you conversation, but it's right in the middle of getting to know you, learning about you, like to the point where I feel like we're still understanding each other. I don't really see how this is, you know what I mean? Like, I would think that they would just know. You would know it's been 2 weeks, it's been 1 month, it's been 2 months, maybe um 3, but and that's a big maybe. A lot of people usually within that first month already asking those questions, and it just doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't click for me, and so that's what makes me automatically want to go. maybe this just isn't the right connection, and then just keep moving. But I'm wondering, am I am I closing down opportunities with legitimate connections by doing that and having that mindset? Do I need to have a different mindset of, let me just express the boundaries since things are coming to this place, and then from there allow you to hear it or not hear it? Because part of me just feels like the fact that I even have to express it makes me feel like, we just not supposed to be together. But am I being
And
too harsh? Do I need to give grace or space for people to process as well?
would they give grace and space for you?
Depends on the person. Depends on the person. Deron had his feedback. He said, keep your standards. Amen. Amen.
Keep your standards. That's why I
Not
said,
him.
would they give grace and space for you?
Yeah. And it depends on the person. And I think that answers my question. When I'm feeling that grace and that space and that safety, then I can provide that. And then if I'm not feeling it or I'm uncertain, then that leaves space for conversation. Maybe. Maybe I'm thinking. Or no. Or I need to just do it regardless and don't give any grace and space and stick to it. This is something I struggle with because
This is so this boundary protects you emotionally and mentally.
mhm.
Or am I looking at that wrong?
And physically,
And physically, of
because
course.
yes, physically, emotionally, absolutely, time wise, I mean, just so many things that you avoid when you are not worried about jumping into things. Um, and you're not really sure what you're going to be getting. Like when you don't know what you're jumping into. I like to know exactly what it is that I'm jumping into. And I've tried, I've been open to the idea of letting things, just naturally go about. But in many cases, most people don't have the emotional maturity to even handle a relationship like that. Like the people that say like, "Oh, let's just let things happen natural." They don't even have the emotional maturity to have conversations about like how they're feeling or what they're wanting or what their goals are. Not everyone, but quite a few. So, yes, it is a boundary for that reason, but it's mainly my peace. My sense of peace is the overall thing when it comes to like abstinence or abstaining. Um I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about, nobody's girlfriend, wife that they've been hiding, and even if they're not, I don't have to worry about the stress sometimes that can come with that. I prefer to just get to know an individual, and from there, if I feel like it's going to be a long-term relationship, great. But if I don't feel like it's a long-term relationship, I'm not excited about the instant part of it because it is instant. It's an instant gratification for many people. And there's nothing wrong with it when you're excited about it and when that's what you want. But that doesn't get me excited. And that's not what I want. So, I don't know. I'm just not motivated by it. Like it doesn't make me excited, it doesn't make me feel attracted to a person, doesn't make me want to get to know a person more. It actually is like a complete turn off and makes me, it's like a repellent actually for me. So,
So if, if those are your feelings, then why do you have to open the gate or disrupt your peace and give any grace for it at all then?
mm, snaps. Oh, I don't have anything for that. That was good.
I mean, because you shouldn't have to.
Woo. Yeah,
I heard
I
you
think,
say that, I just want to be myself. If that's who you are, why go back on it?
yeah, I think because of how harsh and cutthroat I can be, not really harsh, just cutthroat, really aggressive, straight to the point, and um, no nonsense. Because of how I can be that way, I'm always checking my own temperature, and sometimes I can overthink it because I'm trying to ensure that I'm being considerate and I'm not being that quote unquote bulldog. That is a nickname that has been given to me. Please, I'm not going to explain why, not tonight. But it's a nickname, and to an extent, it's an identity as well that I am intentionally shedding, of being that, just so raw and aggressive, and that's something that I'm trying to make sure that I'm not going too harsh on. So sometimes there's moments where I think I do overthink things. And I think that's a moment where I was overthinking it, because my goal is not to come in so abrasive. My goal is to build a great connection, meet a new person, potentially, it goes somewhere great. And sometimes that abrasiveness, and I guess that's why I overthink, sometimes that abrasiveness can make you start reacting to stuff that hasn't even happened yet. And
So, in a sense, what I hear you saying is you go in protecting the other person from what you're assuming that you might give off, or how you're assuming that you may come off. It's like you go in protecting their feelings, but then if you're just gonna protect their feelings, you gotta let some of your feelings down. So who's protecting yours?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think when I put it in that perspective, it's an easy reminder. I mean, it's a no-brainer. But I think in the moments, it's always that voice inside of my head that's saying, "Okay, are you being a little too harsh?" And maybe that also comes from trauma, because when you experience certain things in relationships, or friendships, or however, um, it changes you as a person to an extent. It doesn't make you like, you're a different, you can be a completely different person, or you can be the same person, but there's just things that have been added on to you. So there's depths that were not there before. Um, but you start to be, you notice these changes in yourself. And one of them for me was the sharpness, the aggressiveness, the, not in the sense of like, I'm shoving people against walls and whatnot, but just like that impatience that, I'm just tired already, dealing with you, talking to you. I remember dishing that out to a person that initially dished it to me. And I did it so well that I didn't even realize I was doing it. And I did it so harshly or so aggressively that they couldn't even breathe without me. And what you got to say now, you know? And so when you go through that, there's always a subconscious part of you that's trying to make sure that you're not exhibiting those same behaviors in the next relationship, or in a place where you're trying to grow something that is fruitful, something that is open minded, something that is graceful and peaceful. There's always a subconscious part of you that's like, ooh, okay, I don't want to go too hard, because I have the ability to go too hard. It was something that was gifted to me. Now, whether I use the gift or not, that's entirely up to me. But when you experience certain things, that's kind of what happens. And I think that that's what takes place. Or not all the time, but there are moments. And I think that is a moment where I'm thinking, okay, you don't have to go in being so harsh. You don't have to go in being aggressive. You can just chill and let people, do what they do. But maybe I've mixed up the concept of letting people do what they do, but I can also still be hands on. I don't have to be completely hands off, hands on with the boundaries, hands on with the guidance and giving them a little bit more guidance. Because I think I've definitely, they have two different teachers. You got the teacher that like will teach you how to do it and walk you through it. And then you got the teacher that's like, here's your pen, here's your paper, figure it out, and leave you and come back in 30 minutes. And I think that I have unknowingly become that second teacher in dating. I think that's what I'm taking from this session, and not realizing it. That's what I've done. I've said, here, the pen, the paper is here, finish the job, deuces. I'll be back in 30 minutes and I hope you got it together. And if you don't, you failed the class. So I think that that's what I've taken from this session. And I'm going to try a different approach that gives people a little bit more help, because it's more of a disservice not to provide that light, I would say, in the tunnel, so they can know and you have a little bit of guidance on how to navigate, type of thing. Maybe in my mind, I felt like, it's protecting my peace, as well as um, I'm ensuring that I'm not taking things to that extra level that they don't have to go to, because that was what disrupted my peace in the past. So that's what I was associating that with. Um, so yeah, just some takeaways.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, you've already said it.
Yeah.
You said I'm going to be a little bit more, but what does that look like though? I do want to say, what's more hands on without compromising Catan and what you feel, because what you feel is important. You are the number one. So,
Yeah.
what does hands on look like without compromising your boundaries, without even opening up anything that might even disrupt any of your peace? What does that look like for you? What's one
Um,
thing that you're going to do that you consider hands on that's not disrupting who you are, your peace, or crossing any of your boundaries?
well, I do have a few um potential suitors, or people that are looking, into potentially dating and things like that. Um, or let me say I have a few people that are pursuing. And I think what I can do is, for the people that I have developed a connection or a rapport with, one thing that I can do is just send a message and just say, I can just tell them what I appreciate about them, what I like. Hey, I appreciate this about you. I like this about you. And I just want to let you know that if you ever want to grow something deeper, I like meeting in person. I like this or I like that. So, you know, would be open to it. That's something I can do.
Cool, baby. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. And you would just put this in a text or communicate it, and however you're going to communicate
Yeah, I
it.
can do it in a text if they communicate through text, because it'll probably be the last one I send. I can communicate through I can communicate through a phone call, and some of them I can even communicate in person when I see them and just say, hey, you know, I can just communicate in person and say, hey, I just want to let you know that this is what I like and this is my style and my direction that I'm going in. New direction. So I can do that.
Cool beans.
Yeah,
I love it.
I can do that.
Okay.
I think I've been progressing in the conversation, but um consistently doing that across the boards with each person that has been interested, I wouldn't say. And I think a part of that comes from the gaps in communication, the gaps in the time periods that we talk. Sometimes they'll send a message, I don't get back until like 3 weeks later. That's a long time. Um, but again, the text message stuff, like if I check my phone now, and this is one, keep that in mind, this is one device out of many. Um, I have 152 unread messages. Yeah,
Let me ask you this,
just the
and
phone.
this is just something that came to my mind because I know you are very busy. Like
Hmm.
I've dealt with you professionally. You are a very busy woman, and
Yeah.
I know that you have to schedule everything. Have you ever? I mean, I'm serious, and I have found that scheduling it, writing it down, if I got a time that I know I'm supposed to be there, I'm
Hmm.
there, and it works out great.
Yeah.
Have you ever just thought about scheduling a time for just going to answer a few of these texts? I'm just going to send a message back. Put it in a
Hmm.
schedule. Could you schedule that? And that's not me saying do that. I'm saying, have you ever thought about that? Hey,
Um,
I can text from 5 to 5:15. You can get your message in. 15 minutes, hey, might can text you
I
back.
I have not. Um, I wouldn't be opposed to it. The question I would have to ask myself is how frequently would I schedule that? Like, would it be
Once a
once a
week.
month? Once a month? Look
Once a week.
at okay. This is rich. Okay. So once a month, I could do that. That doesn't sound scary. That's like, okay, cool. Once a month. Yeah, absolutely. That's not bad. I could do that. I could put that in my schedule now. Like once a month, just to answer the text message, I could put that in my schedule. I could do that. And that could be my monthly follow-up. And if it's not enough for someone, I can respect that. I would have to respect it because everybody deserves to have what they're looking for. But for people who are open to that communication and able to work with that, I'm absolutely down for that. So every 4 weeks, you shall hear from me. You know, that's what I can do.
Good time.
I'm sorry. Please take me back for the next session.
Maybe. Well, hey, if you can dedicate once a month, the same way that you would respect them not wanting to deal with it, would be the same with it. You should expect for someone to respect what you got to offer.
Yeah.
If that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the capacity I feel like I'm able to operate at right now because
that's it.
as you mentioned, I have to schedule pretty much everything. And um I don't see it all as a negative because what I'm doing is truly something that I'm passionate about. Um but because of how hard I'm going for it, and everybody starts at different levels, everybody has different levels of support. I have yet to experience having a partner while I'm working and building this who I feel is like genuinely supportive of me and understanding and embracing um me as well as everything that I'm working towards achieving. That's I have yet to experience that. So I'm not relying on it. I'm not waiting for it to happen. But in the process of me doing this on my own and not having that, I have to be very strict with my time and I have to be very intentional. So, like, what some people might be able to dedicate 20 minutes to sitting and talking about the colors on the wall, I can't do that. I can't do that. That's time that I could have been checking to see what's going on with my events or checking to see notifications for clients or things like that. So I can't do that. I can't. Yeah, no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And you deserve to have someone who can respect the boundaries that you have and the passion that you lead with. So
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, definitely.
Deserve that.
Because that's how I am in every area of my life. The excitement that I get about business and my clients and what I'm doing, that's how I feel in every area of my life. So relationships is no exception. Friendships is no exception. Like I get excited about that kind of stuff. So I would want someone that understands me, but also still has a level of enthusiasm about themselves and respects my enthusiasm. Because this is like it's it's not just a business for me, it's a lifestyle, it is a ministry, and I would need a person that is able to embrace that for sure.
Most definitely.
You have got quite a few questions coming through, Tiffany. um we are a little bit over, we are close to midnight, so
Okay.
I don't want to have you waiting for too long. But did you want to answer one or any? How are you feeling? What we
Sure.
looking like on time?
We
Okay,
can have some.
we won't keep you for too long because Tiffany has provided me with my complimentary session. Um, Del put up with my foolishness and is about to be sending me a notification that I need to go and book the nearest therapist. But Let's look at these consults. Hold on, let me see. Okay. First question that we have is, quite a few questions. Oh, okay. I'm gonna let you choose which one you want to answer. And maybe I'll answer one if we have time, but if not, we just stick to one. You got three different questions. First one. Okay. Well, I feel like I already know the answer to that question. But question, uh, do y'all feel like it's okay that a boss babe chooses to be a single mother by choice? How do you feel about that? That is one question. The next question, do y'all feel that it is okay for a boss babe to go 50-50 on dates and in a relationship such as splitting the bill? What you think?
Um, which one do you want me to? Which one did you
Whichever
want
one
me
you
to
want
answer?
to
Um,
do. Ooh.
we were just speaking on that 50-50 thing. What was the question again? Is it okay to go
Let me put it up there
50-50
for
on
you.
dates?
Do y'all feel that it's okay for a boss babe to go 50-50 on dates and in a relationship, such as splitting the bill? Mm.
On a date? No.
Mm.
If a man has asked, or if the lady has asked the man on a date, this is something that they wanted to do. This is someone that they wanted to pursue. I don't think they should do a 50-50 on that. If I'm if I'm walking down the road and someone approaches me, oh, I would love to take you on a date on Saturday, 8, and then we get to the restaurant and then I order my plate and he tell me, well, I got 25. If you don't pull your we finna be in jail because I didn't bring a dime. And in relationships, I mean, it just depends on. I guess my first answer would be no. I guess you would have to look at it from several different perspectives.
He
If you
said, well,
look
I
at
could
it
do
from
25.
if you done came out here with $20 and you knew this was a $40 meal, why
Right?
you being 50?
Listen, like, what is wrong? What is wrong? Look,
I'm
that
gonna walk out here
crack,
on your ass.
cracking up in the comments. Listen, I just feel like I'm with you on that. But let me let you finish your
Now, for the dating, it depends
I could do
on what you
25.
bring.
And I could do she's a runner, she's a track star, and I'll be out of here before you can say handcuffs. So
Oh,
you're
got
gonna
on the floor. Where did she go? Out this door. Because I don't have a dime. I ain't washing no dishes. I'm not going to buy. What is this?
Oh my god.
Now, in a relationship, I guess maybe it would depend on. So, take a marriage. That's a
Mhm.
relationship, a marriage. If I mean, it depends on the incomes.
Mhm.
If I believe in like I'm biblical.
Mhm.
Woman is the helpmate. If the man makes enough money, well, why she got to go 50-50?
Yeah.
However, what if something happens there? I mean, it's a lot of aspects you could look at. Now, if
Yeah.
we roommate, because essentially, if you're not married, then we're roommates.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can do
To an extent. I
50-50
do. I
to an
do agree.
extent.
Yeah, yeah. Because it
Oh,
depends on the
it
depth
just
of
depends on the perspective, the perspective you're looking at it from, and then how long has this relationship been? Are we doing 50-50 and we just known each other 6 months? No.
yeah. Baby.
Bad on my own.
I think he said I can go 50-50 all by myself. Listen, I'll do 50 for me and then 50 for me again by myself before I sit down in this restaurant with you. Talk about some 50-50. I got 25. You got 25. You got more than 25.
What if I have my
Not
ass?
100%, my guy. You're about to be up the creek without a paddle, buddy. No.
What you think on that?
Okay, so I was itching to answer this one. So I personally feel like I think it depends on the relationship. And I think the problem with the 50-50 question, and not people asking it, but people who are having this conversation so aggressively, is what they fail to realize is every relationship is different.
It's different. Yeah.
If you are someone who is biblical or religious or spiritual, or you have your own set of practice or beliefs, there may be something in those beliefs that talk about how a marriage should look and
Yeah.
when, or how a man should provide for their partner. One. Two, if you are someone who is in a relationship with a person and you guys live together, maybe y'all are not married, but you are making commitments. That is the big part, because a lot of people let these licenses or these labels distract them from what is most important. So you can be married to a person and not have any level of commitment to them. Forget about finance, but just in general. So,
Very true.
who are we to judge a relationship and say because they're 50-50, that means that they're not really supporting each other, or that man doesn't love his wife? That man probably could have done more for his wife than the next person ever did at 100-0, or 60-40. So I don't judge it by that, but what I will say is, no. When I go on my date, like you said, don't ask me somewhere, and then we get there, and I'm sitting down in front of you, and you talking about something 50-50. I have a knuckle sandwich. Allegedly, I'm taking this fist and I'm putting two slabs of bread on it, one at the bottom and one at the top. And that's your 50%. So no, I can't do it. Allegedly. But look, I'm on here with my life coach, so let me woosah before she really sent me a real recommendation. But no, on a serious note, no. When I go out on a date, no. If you ask me out on a date and I get there, if you require, or you say something about, oh, we gotta do 50-50, I'm leaving the date. I have had a gentleman ask me what I thought about 50-50. I never talked to that gentleman again. But I've never gone out on a date and a person was like, hey, can you pay X, Y, and Z? Not to me directly. I've had friends where that's happened to them. Like a girl went out on a date with a guy and the guy was like, hey, can you pay this $17? Like, that's happened. Um, that won't be me. If I
Are
pay for
you for real?
yes, yes, yeah. If I pay for that meal, and you just better know, if I pay for that meal, I'm gonna be a single boss babe leaving out that restaurant. You're not getting no number, you're not getting no nothing. Anything that you could have possibly thought you were getting from me, you're not getting it. And the reason is the consideration factor. You asked me out. It's the intentionalism, it's the lack of intention and the lack of follow through and execution. You asked me on a date, and then I got to the date, and you talking about some, can you get 25, 25? No.
That's what they're doing in the dating world now, huh?
Sometimes, yes.
Maybe
And
I
this
need to
actually
start
happened
dating
years
and
ago.
lose some weight.
This wasn't even recently. This was years ago when this happened. She sat down at the table. They were eating. Up. Juanita said, that's a conversation. Right? Ah, that is a conversation to be had at okay. And then Devron said, that's different. See, that's a conversation to be had ahead of time. I agree. If you feel like you need to split and you are unable to do that, you need to be expressing that early. But to get somewhere and be sitting somewhere talking about some, can you pay this? I think that's just, it does not attract me in any way. And I think if your goal is to attract a woman, depending on the woman you're dating, you might want to consider those things. People like to make you feel like you should do something different. When I talked to the gentleman who was like, do you believe in 50-50? First off, why are we having this conversation on the first date? I'm not even talking to you tomorrow. So why are you worrying about what I believe in? Secondly, can we just enjoy ourselves and have a good evening without trying to force this propaganda into our date? So that was a turn off in itself. Um, and then when it comes to like marriage, I don't think it's ever going to be, I don't think it's ever going to be 50-50 in a marriage. Like some days someone's going to be 40, some days another person's going to be 60. But if you're
70,
talking,
30. Yeah.
yeah, if you're talking specifically about finances, if if I have a partner, and oh Lord, somebody talking about, do women hate poor people? I can't. We're not even gonna get into that conversation.
Do they hate what?
Poor people.
Do women hate poor people?
Yes, Lord.
No, no, they don't hate poor people.
It's the
But say
no.
you poor. Why
You
did
said
you
what?
pull up? Why did we pull up to this
This
four-star
this
restaurant and you only
steakhouse.
have Burger
Yeah.
King money? Say
Why did we
that.
do that?
Let's
Why?
go to Burger King.
Let's
I can
go to
Burger.
Burger King. Take me to wherever, like not wherever, Lord, no. Take me to Brahms, take me to Burger King, take me to wherever is in your means, but don't ask me to go somewhere and then ask me to cover it when it was a date that you asked me I wanted to do. It's supposed to be a gift. Like that's like that's like asking somebody, "Hey, you want me to take you to get your feet done?" Like you go out with your girlfriend, "You want me to take you to get your nails done?" And then when you get there, she's like, "Okay, your half is gonna be, you got 50." What? Girl,
After you
what?
done got the tips on.
Is you crazy? Yeah. I will pop that next gen off so quick. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm playing. I'll pay for it, but I'll never go out with you again. Ever. That'll be the first and last time. So, and I've had people like that who've done that. Like, not to me again, but I've heard stories. So it's not just in the relationships realm, it's just the lack of preparation and communication. Like Juanita said, this is a conversation to be had ahead of time. Don't get there talking about some, you got 25. Do you got being single for the rest of your life? Because that's what you're going to get playing these kind of games with me and anybody else. So that's one side. And then with the marriage side, how I personally feel, if a if a man is able to provide for his wife, I think that any man, any loving man, any good man, any investing man will not have a problem with providing for his wife if he's able to. I think the only reason why a man would not be providing 100% for his wife financially, because he's going to provide in other areas, is if he is physically or financially unable to do so at that time. But if that man continues to work and grow, he's going to get to a space where she does not have to work. That's the goal. And they're going to work together as a team to get there, because we all have different playing fields. We don't all start off with silver spoons in our mouth. We don't all start off rich. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being with somebody that maybe is at a different space. But yeah, 100%. That's what I said. 100%. Yes. 100. If a person wants to do that, they're going to do that. Like that's just common sense though for me. And that's not everybody, but for me, like if I have it, we have it. That's the type of person I am. So if I'm doing well with my friends, with my family, with whatever relationship, we're doing well, because whatever benefits that I'm receiving, you are going to benefit from that as well, because we are a group, we're family, we're working together. That's my mind space. So when you find you a woman like that, why on earth would you not want to provide that same level of mind space for her as well? I'm doing well financially, I'm doing well in business, then we're doing well. I'm going to make sure you don't have to do this. I'm going to make sure you don't have to do that. I'm not saying to break the bank, and I'm not saying to go broke, trying to do something that is not realistic, because that's not what we want. Um, but when you are financially capable of investing in your wife, your partner, your spouse, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you want to? Because again, at the end of the day, when I'm doing well, we are doing well. And then another factor of this that I think we have to remember, there's a lot that it goes into a marriage, especially when it comes to being there for your partner. If you're potentially having children with your partner, there's a lot of things that women go through, a lot of changes that they're going to be going through in that time period. And sometimes we just show up and get in where we fit in as good team members, teammates, men and women. So, good woman, show up and get in where I fit in. Maybe we're not able to let me stay and work from home yet. So I do have to work. I'm going to go and I'm going to play my part. We're going to work together. We're going to make this happen. But I know that when we get to a space where I'm able to stay, that's going to be an option for me, because I'm going to be dealing with a person who has the same mindset as me. Now, if you're someone that's operating from a place of scarcity and you're looking for, I don't know what you're looking for at that point. If you don't want to be in a relationship where you're excited to give to a person, because for me personally, I'm just going to say I've met a lot of men, and some of them have a sense of generosity where it's like whatever you ask for, you can get it. That's not the only requirement to a relationship. So just because they do that does not mean that I'm going to automatically say we need to be in a relationship, or I need to date you, or we need to be intimate. That's not my only requirement. Um, there are other factors: family, religion, goals, aspirations, how far you're, where you're trying to live, things like that. So I'm not going to say that that's the only reason why you should be with a person, but I've still met a lot of generous men that, at the end of the day, if they have it, why wouldn't you have it? It's not even a question. Like, what? I was talking to somebody, talking, not even in a relationship, and they just wanted to invest in my business because I was talking to them. Like, I'm talking to you. I enjoy your presence. You're a smart woman. You're capable. You're doing great things. Here's some donations. Just take it. And it wasn't, oh, I'm gonna give you a donation, and if you don't stay with me, you can't have it back. It was just take it. And guess what? That same individual, if they came back to me today and they asked for help with their business, or they asked for help with something, just take it, because that's exactly how you invested in me. So, relationships in general, I just think when you're dealing with people who are coming from a place of fruitfulness and abundance, you're going to have a lot more luck than coming from a place of scarcity and being crusty and trying to hold and hoard stuff, because what you're going to do is miss out on genuine people, even in friendships. Like, I've had friendships that I had to let go of because they're like, I'm gonna hold this, or I'm not gonna give this. I'm only gonna do this for you. I'm not gonna do too much. Okay. And you're gonna be friendless. And when you need some help, don't call me because you're hoarding. You trying to do this weird thing. I give 100% the first time. People need to learn how to just do that the first time when you recognize someone of value. That's what I feel. But everybody don't know value. What we got in the comments? Let me see what we got. Um, Really? So you're saying your money is our money? Um, I mean, when you get married to a person, legally, yes. I felt like that was. I didn't say that. That's what happens when you marry somebody. Your money is now merged. You guys are two. You're one.
For better or for worse, richer
Yeah.
or poor,
Yeah.
to death
Exactly.
do
And
us.
again, that's another thing too, which is why I think it's really important to make sure you're with people who are investing in themselves as well, because when you're investing in yourself, you're not so worried about that. I feel like, I don't think that people who are investing in themselves are so much worried about that part, because they know they're going to do it for themselves. Anything that they give you is extra. It's like, hey, I have this, I want to support you. That's what I feel.
I
um
think, why do people go? I think because why do it have to be all finance? Like you said,
I agree, Juanita. She
if
said some people are
what if
become
I
so.
can't work, but you love me anyway because of the personality and the love and the peace that I bring to the relationship? Is that not giving my 50? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
if I just physically cannot work?
Yeah.
Then am I deemed to not be given enough in the relationship because I don't have the finance? I think the 50-50, because
I'm
it don't
telling
have to be money that you're giving, right? You don't
It don't. Well, when I think they were talking specifically about
on
finances,
finances.
but what I do know, nothing wrong with being specific in what you want in life and love. I agree. I do agree. And Juanita said something too. She said sometimes people become selfish. Sorry, y'all, I had something in my eye. Um, and then, but I can't afford it, man. Well, sounds like
Well,
you
all you
got to
gotta
get
do is just
specific
communicate
about
that
what you
up front.
want,
Just say it up
right?
front. I can't afford
Okay, somebody out there is okay with that, but
it.
they're out there. But it's like we were just talking about. Actually, you just joined us later on in the session, but we were just talking about communication and boundaries. And if financial boundaries are required because you're at a space where you're building, then they're required. Look at me. I learned fast. Just,
You
sponge,
in there.
sponge, sponge. But no, I do think people can sometimes be selfish, Juanita. That's a good point. A lot of people think on an individual level, not on a we are a team level, and they don't realize that selfishness hurts more than it helps. But me personally, I just feel like when you're of abundance, you're of abundance, and when you're not, it shows, and it creates the energy for the relationship. in friendship and in romance. But to answer that 50-50, just straight up, again, no, I'm going to say it again out to the world and the
Especially on a
universe.
date.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely not. Now, household and stuff, if you're someone that financially we just can't do that, I understand. But financially, if we could, I personally like to do what I do. So even if we couldn't, I'm still going to bring in some level of income from my own ventures outside of working a 9 to 5. Um, but that's just because this is, like I said, my calling, my passion, my ministry. So even if I didn't have to work again for a day in my life, I would still be doing this. So that's how I know I'm in where I need to be. Um, but that's just me. You know, everybody's a little bit different. And then as far as like children and stuff, thank you. I appreciate that. But as far as like children and all of that, like I'm not going to be working while I'm having those children. I got to put that out there. I got to
And I
do.
don't blame you.
That's why I'm working hard
And
now.
I'll co-sign it.
And not co-sign it. Yeah,
Don't.
I'll co-sign it.
You afford it
Listen,
then.
I I see what women go through physically, emotionally. I see that there are great support systems out there because there are some men who are extremely supportive and will rally around their partner when they're having that child. But I've also seen other realities, and I'm not going to be working. I'm working hard now so that I can have those assets for my children, so that I can take a break and chill. I want to be up, sitting down, eating some snacks that are okay for pregnant women to eat, and enjoying my life. And I'm a workout and I'm a dance. That's it. Y'all might get a couple dance videos. You might get a couple lives. Outside of that, I can't do much for you. All of that, you gonna work? No,
Barefoot and
no,
pregnant, huh?
yeah, no, no. You know, was that you? I can't remember who it was I was talking to about that conversation. Barefoot and pregnant. What it actually originated from?
It wasn't me.
Oh, see, and now I'm wondering if I just read it. Let me look that up briefly because I want to shed a little bit of light to that barefoot and pregnant saying. We live,
Barefoot and pregnant. I want to hear this.
and then yeah, and while we're hearing it, Devron has something. Welfare, divorce, and child support ruin laws, ruin laws. Wait, ruin laws, ruin trust in relationships. Oh, I see, I see. Yeah, I can see how sometimes that would. I feel like it's a part of it, but it's not the overall. It's a symptom. It's not the core issue, if that makes sense. That's what I feel. I feel those are symptoms to ruin trust in relationships. Like it's a part of what just comes with it, like some of the results, but it's not the core issue, is what I feel. I think the core issue is a system where, not legal system, moral system, where for some reason it has become okay not be there for your children as a man or a woman. And people are not truly shamed enough for not showing up or not at least trying to work on themselves to show up. And when I say shame, I don't mean like you need to be, you know, people throwing stones at you or treating you like Quasimodo. I just mean it's not enable. We're not enabling the behavior. I think there's a lot of enabling going on this day and age, and a part of this is a part of it. But I don't think that that's the only reason. Because if you take away the legal system, you still have people who are not showing up the way they're supposed to show up. Now, would it make it easier in some cases? Yes, like child support, um, divorce, it would. But there are some people, regardless of the rules, they're still not going to do what they're supposed to do because they just don't have that integrity in them. Which is unfortunately why the rules is created, in my opinion. Because I've seen a lot in that realm.
Is he
Um,
saying that welfare, divorce, and child support laws ruin the trust in the relationships? Is that what?
yeah, yeah, that's exactly what he was saying. He said it ruined trust in relationships. I feel like it's a part of it, but I don't know if I feel like that's the core issue. I think the core issue is trauma, generational trauma, lack of emotional education and development, and these just added fuel to the fire. That's what I feel like. Like they were just there in a hand, like, you know what I mean? But tell me what you think about that, Devron, and you too, Tiffany. Okay, let me find this. I I'm getting on my chat GP tizzle. Obviously, sometimes chat GP tizzle is wrong, but I could have sworn I read an article somewhere else. So, what does the true meaning barefoot and pregnant mean? Where does it originate from? Let's find out. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, let me see. Okay. Uh, Hold on. Okay, I cannot. Okay, so this is what it's somewhat showing it, but it's not showing the video that I was finding of an older woman having a conversation in a group, and she was talking about what barefoot and pregnant originally meant. Barefoot and pregnant was not this romanticized idea of, oh, I just want you pregnant and barefoot. Barefoot and pregnant was a way to keep women from being able to survive outside their home. Barefoot in the wintertime, so you can't run away. Pregnant, so you're consistently having children. So you are stuck in the home, housemaking, and doing what you're supposed to do as a woman, versus being able to leave. If you don't have clothes, if you don't have shoes, if you don't have those necessities, you can't get out. And when it's freezing cold in the wintertime, you're not going to be out barefoot, not for that long. So that's what the woman was saying. And I wanted to find like an article on it or the actual original source, but I can't pull up the original source. But it was a group conversation. So what I'll do is I'll put a pin in it, guys, and I'll go and look for it, and then we can come back and talk about it again. But she was saying that in her day and age, when people were saying barefoot and pregnant, they were saying keep the woman occupied and keep her from being able to leave the home financially and also physically.
Wow.
So it made me think for a second, and I never got a chance to go back to it, but I am going to go back to it, and we can bring it up at our next podcast once I've done even more research on it, because it's bringing it up somewhat. It's talking about how it's not a biblical phrase, the history, but it also talks about a woman that is pretty much choosing the traditional route. However, if what she's saying is correct, then I don't want to be barefoot and pregnant. I just want to be pregnant and non-working, not working a
So
9 to 5.
the woman was basically stripped of her rights to be able to
Yes,
go out and make her way if she wanted to.
that's what they were saying. She was saying that when they say barefoot and pregnant, it's more of like, I'm physically keeping you from having the things that you need to leave this home. So you can't go out and get a job. You can't leave if you don't want to be here. You're pregnant. So, no one's going to take a pregnant woman because you're taken and whatnot. And you're not physically going to be able to go anywhere. So you don't have any shoes. Um, and so that's what it was.
That'll be a good topic.
Yeah, I gotta find the video because it wasn't just that woman talking, it was other women. It was like a discussion or like a panel I was getting multiple of. So I need to go back and find what platform that I was listening to it on or watching it on because I can't remember if it was Audible, if it was YouTube. But I'm gonna go look it up. That's gonna be my homework. So we can come back and discuss it a little bit further and find out, what the true roots of barefoot and pregnant are. But back to that original statement, I'm not working. The only thing I'll be working is Boss Bay blog, and even then, it's gonna be in limited measures if I decide that I want to have children, because that's some work. But this was a wonderful life coaching session. Yes, we definitely have to have a group conversation about this. And yeah, traditional wife is also what it's called. For better, for worse, depending on where you're coming from, what that means, what it looks like. But yeah, it was a great session. We ended up answering some questions at the end, Tiffany. It was wonderful. We ran over, but I do feel like we had some great conversations, and I'm willing to
We
apply one.
did.
So I'm gonna choose one action at a time, if that's okay.
Cool
Um,
beans.
I'm gonna take the homework of scheduling the monthly texting sessions. And since
One.
it's monthly, that's very underwhelming. So I can do 1 to 2 hours, of just checking in and texting and stuff. I can do that.
Protecting your peace. Keeps your boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I feel like that was an advertisement or something. Like I should have snipped it at that, stopped it at that. Well, thank you. I'm glad you joined. I appreciate you for asking your questions. We had some great dialogue and conversation.
We did.
Um,
We did.
so
I
I
loved it.
appreciate everyone. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful evening. Again, I want to leave with a disclaimer. Rewind back to Tiffany's disclaimer about how she is a life coach. She is here to coach you, guide you, support you. However, if she feels like during your session it does not align, then, or not align, but she feels like you need a different scope of support, she's going to let you know that, because there's therapy, there's counseling, there's life coaching, there's consulting, there's so many different forms of supporting your overall development. So that's the first disclaimer. And then the second disclaimer that I want to leave with everyone is that the goal of me doing this session live was just to have a bit of vulnerability, where people can see me having these conversations. And we may have talked about dating, even if you're not dating. It's the thought process of having conversations about your own growth and development that can really help you. And it can feel scary, but I promise it's not scary. Now, will I get invited back?
Of course.
I was going to say, we're going to
Yes.
find
I
out.
loved it.
But it was great. And I really appreciate you coming on and offering your expertise. So thank you, Tiffany.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for having me. And thank you for doing it. Because like I said, it takes a lot to get that intimate live. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm over here talking about this. These people gonna be like, oh, I heard all about Katan's dating. That is the fear of doing things live, but her sessions are not always live. And I am gonna just drop a quick link for anyone that wants to book her sessions. So you have options. You can start off with the free version, which is one free 30-minute consult or 30-minute to 1 hour consult. And then after that consult, it'll be $0. So you're going to pay with your opinion. You're going to leave her a review on her Google business page. Um, Now, if you are ready for ongoing development, then you're going to go and you're going to book through her website, radiantlycrowned.com. Click on join our program. From there, you can decide on a double session package or a trio session package. Both are going to be the same quality, will not be diluted, whichever one you choose, but the price points are different because she's doing a grand opening promo. So for the grand opening, it is $90 for 3 packages, which means they are $30 per session for 3 sessions. The duo, it is $80 for 2 sessions, meaning it is $40 per session. That is the grand opening price. The original grand opening price for 1 session is $50 for 1 life coaching session. That is the grand opening price. The current price that is set up there, but it will not always be that price. It can go anywhere from $100 to $500 for life coaching, because this is about investing in your life, your goals, your development. But right now, Tiffany is doing this special grand opening deal where you can get it for free for your first one if you decide to pay with your opinion. And then after that, you can purchase another session, one-on-one, or the packages that we just talked about. So if you would like to book with Tiffany, you have the link attached. And if you're looking for more opportunities to be a part of her network, be interviewed on her podcast, you can even apply for that as well. Thank you so much, Tiffany. I truly appreciate you again. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Good night.
Good night.